wondering why I'm so mad right now, it all has to do with this image you see before you. More accurately, this. Angry Bird space, or at least the universe it takes place in, is confirmed to be a different universe from Angry Birds Classic. Now, I'm sure I'm not the first to call bullshit on this, but I'm still going to call bullshit on this nonetheless. In fact, I initially thought it was the Mirror World. You know, they are fairly similar, but no. Looking closer, you will see that the two are indeed completely different. I have no notes about that. Because you'll see that Angry Birds Space has a bit of a purple background to it. Why is that important, you may ask? Well, Classic has a blue background to it. And in the Rodeo Classic's Angry Birds trailer, Red is going through a blue portal. And just like the portal in Angry Birds Space looks pink here, but still purple enough. Yeah, Rodeo didn't do research on their own things, apparently. I could be right all along, who knows? Point is, space is definitely a different universe, which means Icebird is from a different universe himself, which means the Angry Birds are definitely not aliens anymore. So what are they, and what is Icebird's story now exactly? Well, welcome to a 6-part series where I try and solve the entire Angry Birds timeline. And yes, you heard me, 6 parts to this. So, like and subscribe to see all those parts. It's going to be a long journey, but I am going to start with Icebird. Part 1, the truth about Icebird, and it's probably not going to be what you're thinking it's going to be. It's going to be a pretty big theory. So, to start off, I'm just going to say right here, I do not think Icebird is originally from the space universe. Instead, I think he originally comes from the Journey universe. How do I know this? Well, in the Ancient Ruins episode, you can find statues and structures that closely resemble Icebird. Very strange, huh? Why would Rovio delete Angry Bird Space and the character just to put him back as a statue in Ancient Ruins? You wouldn't even say I'd have to do something like this as if he were important somehow, right? I'm not saying he's not in Angry Bird Space, but this is its own separate universe as well, so why would he be important here? Well, if he's in the Ancient Ruins, then that would mean if he was a statue of him, he would in fact be an important character, but how? Well, I think back in the day, there was an ancient bird versus pig war. And to help solve that war, Icebird is the one who initially hatched or created the spirit birds. After all, their entire life's goal, or after non-life's goal, I don't know what's considered for things that are alive or dead or anything. Their entire goal is to bring peace to the world every 1,000 years for some reason. And so, the birds, knowing how much Icebird wanted peace, rewarded him with his asteroid. And now, Icebird watches over and protects the entire Angryverse or multiverse. Honestly, I have no idea where his powers extend, but okay. So that's it, right? We solved Iceberg? Not quite right. After all, why would he just be floating in the void between universes? Between, attacks or whatever, am I right? Well, I think Angry Bird Space, the universe where his planet supposedly is in the same universe as Angry Bird Star Wars. Now, how do we know this? Well, in Boba's delivery, we can see that there was a toy iceberg. Again, that would most likely mean that they know him enough in this universe to where they can make toys out of him. Therefore, you need someone's likeness to do that, and you can't do it if they're constantly hopping in and out of universes, right? And you never get their consent in time. Well, what if Cold Cuts and the rest of the space galaxy all takes place within the Angry Birds Star Wars universe? And he just set up base there. And this would also allow the Empire to track him down. I'll explain why there's pigs, but not a lot of birds in this universe. It's the Empire hunting everybody, searching for the egg, which could very well be Icebird's egg-steroid. I mean, think about it. Why else would they want something like this? Something that can take them to other universes. They could be able to take over, well, literally everything. There'd be no safety. I wonder why Iceberg wants to protect it so bad. So, to recap. First, Iceberg hatches the spirit birds in Angry Bird's journey, or creates them. I'm not sure about that one. One of the two. And the spirit birds then give Iceberg his egg-steroid. And Iceberg sets up camp in the Angry Birds Star Wars universe. Then, it could be days, seconds, eons later, the events of Angry Birds Space occur. At some point. Who knows? But that concludes Icebird's entire timeline in the Angry Birds universe. Well, not his entire timeline. We'll get into that later. But thus ends part 1 of our 6-part series, searching for the entire Angry Birds timeline. In part 2, we'll go over what the Angry Birds are exactly. They're not aliens. They're not normal birds in this universe, I can tell you that. Next, we'll be going over the pre-space timeline, everything that happens before Angry Birds Space, which is probably going to be a pretty long one, so stay tuned for that. Part 4, we'll be going over the entire space and Star Wars timeline and how they interact. Part 5, it will be everything that happens after Angry Birds Space. Oh, I'm sorry if I sound very off in this video. Matilda's voice is making my voice crack now for some reason. And part 6 will be the entire timeline explained. No stops or explanations as to why they're in that position. Just so everybody knows the entirety of Angry Birds lore. But until then, that's going to be it for this video. Thank you guys for watching, like and subscribe, and have a nice rest of your day.